What's up, guys? Rob from Legit Japanese Gaming here, bringing you a brand new Let's Play here in Hearts of Iron 4. You guys saw us do the America game. You saw me and Steve do our Italy-Germany run. And all of that was before the newest DLC, No Compromise, No Surrender. And so I figured, why not do a Let's Play in kind of the focal point of that DLC here in the Japanese Empire. I've played a couple games, so I kind of know what I'm doing, but not really. And so, again, as a disclaimer, I'm not a meta player. I don't know the true meta stats. I'm probably going to be very bad at certain things. The China war is going to take too long, etc., etc., etc. You're just going to have to put up with it, because I'm not like a super stats meta player that knows all the strats to like capitulate China in 1937 or whatever. But that being said, as you can see, I've gone ahead and I've done all the boring stuff, gotten all the boring stuff out of the way. Like I organized my armies, I set up my production queue. So I guess we can go through all of that. Basically, I've set up my armies to be kind of the way that I'm going to want them to be at the start. We have our armor divisions and our motorized. These templates are not very good, but they're going to be good enough to get what we need done in the China War. And we are going to eventually convert these into our Hohei-Shidan assault infantry, which we're eventually going to knock this down out of 24. We're going to knock this down to the typical assault template, 9 pips infantry, 2 pips artillery on the line. But then we have our line filler, which is just our garbage 12 widths. This is just going to be used to fill in a line during the China War, so that way we don't get encircled. And our 1 unit of Marines that is going to have to eventually be made better. We could train more, but I'm going to edit the template so we can't really spam too many of them out. I'm merging up our navies. We're getting our subs done. I deleted most of the Air Force and then redeployed it into bigger stacks. And then I'm just getting my divisions places where they're going to just start training and whatnot. What else? Research is standard. Construction and trade. We're not importing anything yet. Construction, I'm playing around with this because I don't think you need to go too heavy on civs if you're planning on capitulating China, because you can just capitulate them with war reparations, and that will give you access to a huge amount of industry. I am going to build up some civs to start though, because we are going to need to import a lot, specifically steel. We're going to be importing a ton of steel for our navy, so I'm going to build up some civs early on. This will also help get our industry off the ground while we're fighting China, because I can usually get them by like late 39, early 40 if I do it right. My last game I ended up in like mid to late 40, which wasn't ideal, but yeah, we'll see about that. And then we're just gonna go full on infrastructure in places that have resources. Like we'll queue this stuff up here, and then dockyards. I missed that one. And I missed that one. But yeah, we're just going to go infrastructure. We will eventually make the infrastructure on these coal islands better as well. We got a little bit of aluminum out here and stuff. But yeah, we're going to be aiming for like 65 to 70 dockyards for the Navy. Now, I'm going to let these 2 basic destroyers finish because they've had a lot of IC already put into them. And then it's just going to go all on convoys. Eventually, we're going to be producing... we're going to go for an escort carrier navy. I do like using... I'm trying to use more of like the new stuff they put into the game. And so, with the new doctrine system and the new naval research stuff, you can do some pretty cool things with your navy. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try doing an escort carrier navy this game, which is the kind of build that I've been doing. during my other tests. We're not recruiting anything yet because we have no stockpile, especially infantry equipment. That'll even out. I converted some units to the Hohei Shidan and stuff like that, so that's why our stockpile looks like that. And other than that, I think that's basically it. You know, standard. We can't go down our political tree just yet because we haven't gotten the event. Where is it? We need the Saburo Aizawa's trial to conclude. So yeah, we're gonna go for historical. Obviously, I'm gonna let time start ticking by while I'm just BSing. I will say, as far as like maybe some of the rules for this campaign, I know in the US campaign I set the rule that I'm only allowed to use ships that I build. I will not be playing that rule here because simply put, the Royal Navy and the American Navy starts out so much bigger than yours that you will need at least some of these starting ships. They're not the greatest templates you've ever seen, but you know, they're workable. And so, especially when you just have as many ships as you do, these combined with your actually good fleet will do a lot of damage. So I am going to try to mostly use ships that I build, but if I only use ships that I build, I would be getting smoked really hard. So yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, that's like the rule set we're gonna go into with the Navy stuff, and I'm also going to play another rule set where personally limiting some of the things that I can do. So I'm gonna set the rule that I'm allowed to help the Germans with the Soviet Union, because the issue is if you completely leave the Germans to their own devices, it's 50-50 whether or not they're actually going to be an effective fighting force. I've had games where Germany smokes the Soviets. I've had games where Italy dies in 1940. So I want to help the Axis a little bit and just stabilize their fronts. But I'm going to set the rule that I cannot help with land troops to capitulate the UK until the US is capitulated. Once the US capitulates, then I can go in and help with Sea Lion. However, I'm going to say that I'm allowed to help them with planes, so I can put up fighters and CAS and strat bombers and stuff over the UK to help Germany out with that. But I'm going to set myself the rule that I have to capitulate the US first, which is going to suck because that means we have to deal with Canada and this gigantic, front line we're going to have with them. So that's going to be kind of my goal here. My goals are going to be capitulate China, capitulate the Raj, maybe capitulate Australia, and obviously take over the Rubber Islands. I'm going to try to do all of that first before I end up declaring on the US, just because, man, the US Navy is such a pain in the ass in this game. As soon as you declare on them, they just put subs everywhere. And yes, you can just put naval bombers out and start, whittling away at them and make your anti-sub destroyers, but it's just very, very annoying, and I feel like it doesn't make for good gameplay watching if I can't do anything because I have 0 convoys. So yeah, we're basically going to try to isolate the Philippines first, and then we'll declare on the US and get going that way. So that's kind of the setup we're going for here. So I can help the Soviets, I can help with air over the UK, but I can't put land forces in the UK until the US is dead. So yeah. Anyway. We need political power because I do think we're going to want to save, I think, Watanabe. Yeah. We're going to want to increase security around Watanabe because he gives us artillery attack plus 15%, artillery defense plus 10%. That's really good. So we are going to increase security around Jotaro Watanabe. We're going to continue down our tree, our industry tree, until we can go down our political tree, although we'll probably rush most of the industry first anyway. it is good to rush down to getting your extra research slot and forming your intelligence bureau, because we are going to need an intelligence agency in order to get collab governments on China. And believe me, you're going to want collab governments on China. So got our army training, getting all these guys up to their experience. I might split this fleet between episodes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I know that you can use the task force composition editor, but I've had some real issues with it being very like buggy. So we're not gonna do that. So we're gonna purge the Kodoa faction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. I guess we could just split this last one in half. Do half. And just for OCD's sake, there we go. So we have 11, 11, 10, 10, 10. I do like to put my subs in stacks of 10. They seem to do good rating, but still have enough of a efficiency where you're not just death stacking your subs. We must assault Mongolian forces. Must assault Mongolian forces around Lunabir, which I think is up here. Yes. Okay. So yeah, we failed the ongoing trial. Yep. We could abandon naval treaties right away. We have a border war. Right, I forgot about this. So let's get our divisions up here. Yeah, we're gonna just abandon a naval treaty straight away. Just because as soon as we start getting the ability to make decent ships, we're gonna want to. Capital ships and spotting speed. Yeah, so we can now go down to this. We cannot do the Harikari debate, Harikiri debate yet, because we haven't incited tensions. So why don't we get this ticking, because that does take a little bit to tick over. And like I said, we want to rush down to our tree to get our research slot and our intelligence agency going as quickly as we can. So once our divisions org up, which they should, do we have enough trucks to motorize? No, we don't. All right, so we can prepare to assault. Window of opportunity or escalate the incident. There's probably more divisions than we need here, to be honest, but it's good to get our troops some XP. Test the Soviets. Yeah, that's not happening. No thanks. Oh yeah, these decisions I forgot. Yeah, we need to pacify Korea. We're gonna try to get like our advisors and stuff going early, because like we are gonna need a ton of XP for the stuff that we're gonna want to do. So while that's going on, we can now, I think we want to approach all of these guys essentially, but we'll start with Mitsui. Right, incite intentions in the diet. We're just doing all sorts of fun stuff. Just throwing our country into a blender essentially. Escalate the incident. Right. I always forget about this because I sometimes just don't do it, to be honest with you. Starting a little border conflict. Yeah, so it's nice. We get some political power and some army XP, which is pretty neat, honestly. So, yeah. We are also going to try to do the Shaanxi stuff, which I do like to try to capitulate them if I can. Having that little extra puppet is super duper handy. So I'll wait till we get 150. We'll see if we want to take any of these guys here. I think one of these gives political power. This one's not bad, Minister of Finance. Yeah, we need to do Konoi's first cabinet, which is here, to get that guy. Yep. So now we have this ticking modifier, Kwangtung Army growing impatient, which that will kick off the war with China. So you can delay that, but I typically find that delaying that is not maybe as good as just taking the conflict, because yeah, it gives you more time to build up, but it also gives the Chinese more time to build up, which is not great. Stability. Yes, we don't have our political power guy yet. So I think what we might do, we can take the Minister of Finance, which might not be bad, which we might do. Or do we want to get our naval commander and just start getting this Navy XP going? We'll take the Minister of Finance, and then with the next tick of political power, we will get our naval commander. And then we're probably gonna take, where is it? Naval reform for more XP gain. Alright, so now we have a little bit of army XP. We can go ahead and modify some of our templates. So we're going to take... Oh, I forgot to sell stuff. We're going to take the recon out because we're not making the light tanks. Forgot to add stuff to the market. We're not making the light tanks. We're not going to. And I don't think we have enough XP to edit these guys down to be what I want them to be. So 4, 8. No, we just don't have enough to get them to a 9, 1. All right. We are gaining XP because we're exercising, but it's not too much. So when we get 40, I think we can make this what we want. Oh, No, we just need 35. Okay. Yeah, so we get this to 35. We'll make this. This will be the template that we're going to rock with for assaulting China. After the Shaanxi War, these will be converted as well. The reason that we're keeping these for the Shaanxi War is because you don't really have that much time to do what you want to do there. And if you can get the capitulation, it's super duper handy. So Turkey's buying light tanks. That's very nice. We'll probably do the Shaanxi War while this is going on. So these are all 70s. This is 21, 35, and then another 35. So it's 70 plus that is 91 days. Yeah, we can do that. Why don't we go ahead, start getting down that path. And then we'll start getting ready for a war with Shaanxi. To which end, I am going to build, once we get Menjiang, I'm going to build an airport there for our planes. So we're going to immediately go in for the escort carriers, because that's the kind of fleet we're going to be building. So we want to get those started right away. Yeah, so Menjiang will become a puppet. And then that'll be right around the time we can do the Harakiri debate, get the cabinet, and then try to... can invest in Senbu. Whoops. Oops. Yeah. Which doesn't really help us. So we're probably just going to go right for the campaign after that. We'll build up some airports. We don't really need that many, considering as far as non-fighters go. We don't really have that many attack bombers. These are all fighters. So no, yeah, we only need a level 2 airbase for these guys, because these guys are all fighters, and Menjiang doesn't have any fighters, so it's irrelevant to our issues. Let's get our naval commander going. Looks like our industry is starting to kick off, which is nice. I'm gonna take a sip of water real quick. All right. So once Menjiang submits, we'll build up an airbase there. And maybe that'll be where we end up kind of leaving the episode off. Let's just let Menjiang get its submits. Very nice. And this is a 35-day focus, so why don't we just build up the airport first, and then we'll launch that, so we can build up our puppet a little bit. Gain some air XP wouldn't be nice, or wouldn't be bad, but yeah, this will tick down the war with China, which we don't want just yet. Yeah, so why don't we just build it up? So yeah, level 1 airbase gives you 200 planes. We just need... we'll probably build it in this province. Level 2 airbase here. Which won't take that long. So if we do the math here, September 1st, it's like 6 days. Yeah, so we can take this focus and that'll be... This should be done by that time. What's it called? Yeah. Whoops. So why don't we go ahead and get our army set up the way we want it to be for this campaign. And that'll probably be where we end the episode off, actually, is with this Shanxi War. So my strat I like to do is you get the armor up here in the desert tiles, because a lot of this crap is mountain and hills, not very useful to us. Set up your divisions there, and then you get the cavalry, whoops, into the mountains. I know that, funnily enough, I'm pretty sure the motorized divisions are faster in mountains. Mountains, they have a plus 10% movement speed, whereas the cavalry, I think, has a debuff. Yeah, minus 5% mountain speed. I don't know why, but the motorized can just like blitz through here. Well, actually, maybe we do put the motorized here. Actually, I think that's what I did last time. I am confusing myself a little bit. We're gonna reformulate this strategy here. So the motorized is actually gonna come over here because they have the mountain movement speed. Right, that's what I did last time. And then the cav can come over here and help encircle this area. We want range because you need it. You need range in the Pacific so bad. So what's going on over here? Plane stuff we can research later. No, we have our Marines. We don't need that. We don't need any of this stuff just yet. We can get the radio for the reinforce rate, which is a nice thing to do. I think that's what we're going to do. And then after that, we're probably just going to start turbo rushing all this stuff. Like, we could start building ships now if we had any XP, but we don't. There's level 1 airbase. We're going to put this onto guns because that's what's we're in the hole the biggest on guns right now. So here's what we can do. We can set up the front lines for these guys. That way, whoops, we can just click and have them go in. We'll do a spearhead because spearhead executes your battle plans more aggressively. And speed is going to be of the essence. You think you only get like a month in order to... Oh, why aren't you moving? Yeah, you gotta get over here, brother. We're going to war in 14 days. Okay, that's done. Let's get our Cass over. We shouldn't really need that much Cass for this top part. So we'll put 54 there. We'll put the rest. Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll put the big guys where they can actually reach there. So Unfortunately, the starting planes have like no range at all, essentially. Alright, we're coming up on 100 XP, which means we will probably grab our... Yeah, non-combat added supply is good. We'll do division attack, though, I think. But he doesn't give as much XP as the issue. I don't think it's going to matter. To be honest, like, you're going to get so much XP from the China War. But the non-combat added supply is also good for the China War. So we're going to grab him, actually. Yep, we'll let this tick down, and then right before this goes to start, we will, we'll go ahead and end the episode so that we can start next episode with this campaign. And I like to tick it down because this matters so much. Like, every hour, like, legitimately matters for this. All right, there we go. So now we're gonna try to bum rush Shaanxi and get the capitulation, but that's gonna have to wait for next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys again next time.